Welcome, visible entrepreneurs. This is our Thursday training. I'm so excited. Ooh, you can now add up to 3 guests. Fancy. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you for the updates. All right. I hope you guys are having an awesome Thursday wherever you are in the world. Today's training, we're going to be talking about how to talk about yourself. That is something that can be a bit of a struggle. Can be a bit of a struggle when we are entrepreneurs, when we are coaches, when we are creatives who want to be more visible in the online space, and everybody tells you, tell your story, talk about you, let people see you, and everyone's like, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm not like a bragger. I'm not like a showy person. I'm not an extrovert. I'm not a performer. So that feels really uncomfortable. I hear you. I get you. And I know there are pieces of myself that I still am holding back, that I'm on the verge of talking about. But you do it in stages. So we're going to talk about how to talk about yourself the right way. Before we jump in, please let me know. Drop a 1. Do you struggle to talk about yourself because it feels arrogant or selfish? Okay, if that's you, drop a 1. I'm assuming you may have some struggles if you're here watching, if you're catching the replay, and drop a 2 if the struggle is more about not wanting to hurt other people or not wanting to offend other people. So if it's more about you feeling like selfish and arrogant, drop a 1. And if the struggle is more about not wanting to hurt other people, drop a 2. Both are valid. And if you have another reason, pop it in the comments, because I want to know if you really stop and ask yourself, like, what is it? What am I resisting? Why am I resisting this? Then that's where we can start, right? Once we ask why. Kathy's a 1. Great. Yeah, awesome. Hey, welcome, Kathy. Okay, for those of you that are new here, if you're catching the replay, if we haven't met yet, if this is your first live, let me just do a quick introduction. I am Emanuela Hall. I'm a speaking and visibility coach, and I help female growth-focused entrepreneurs and creatives to speak with authority, embody their leadership so that they can make humongous impact in the world and attract those dream clients easily with their visibility. So that is what we do here. We talk about this every Thursday. I'm going to jump in. Stay till the end because I want to let you know about something really fun that is happening on March 8th. Okay? All right, so before we talk about how you can do it the right way, let's talk about how you can do it the wrong way. And please, while I'm talking, I love hearing from you all. So if something comes up, like think of a time where you saw somebody doing it wrong, or maybe it didn't feel right for you, or maybe a time that you did it, that it didn't feel right, or it just didn't come across the way you had hoped. Okay, so pop anything that comes up, any comments, any questions in the box. Kathy says it's been getting better, I think. Yeah, I mean, it comes with practice, right? All of the things I talk about, how to speak with more authority, how to show up consistently, all of these things happen with practice, of course. But I heard a really great quote yesterday, and it said, practice only makes perfect when you're practicing perfectly. When you're practicing the right way. Because if we keep practicing doing something the wrong way, we're never going to get the results that we want. All right, so here is how some people I've seen do it the wrong way. And number 1 is you're only focusing on your successes. You're talking about all of the things that have worked really well, the 10K you made that month and the 700 clients you booked in a week. And while that's enticing and it draws people in, most people are like sniffing, like, is that legit? How do I know that's legit? How did she get there? I don't know. We all have our radar up these days, especially if you've been burnt. So if you're only talking about all these great achievements you've had, yeah, you're going to come across a little bit unrealistic, a little bit unrelatable, and maybe a little bit arrogant. So, right, focusing on only your achievements. Another way I've seen people do it wrong is focusing only on your failures. Like, I see a lot of people coming in their stories and just being like, guys, I'm having such a hard day, which is great once in a while, right? But if that's kind of your MO and you're always talking about, your pain points and your struggles and the trauma that happened to you in your past, like it's energy, right? And it can really bring people down. And that's probably not the vibe you want to leave people with, right? How do you want to inspire them? So one way of doing it wrong, too many successes. The other way is too many failures. And then the other thing is like talking about totally irrelevant things. As we know, we have less attention as human beings in 2022 than a goldfish. I'll just leave that right there. So 7 seconds? And I know I've already seen people come in and go, and I do it all the time. It's like, no, she didn't get me, I'm leaving. So really, I'm not saying you have to rush. I'm not saying you have to leave out important details, but talking about those irrelevant pieces of information, this is where your notes can be handy because you might just start going down some rabbit hole that is not relevant to your talk. Okay, and then the last thing I want to talk about is, people who talk at their audience and not with their audience. Have you ever felt talked at? It's tricky. It's tricky to do in this kind of a space, in a virtual space, right? Because you're not getting that immediate feedback. Even here on Facebook, I'm like, is there a comment? No. Okay, I'll just keep talking. But I'm talking, but I'm imagining what you're saying. Okay, so this is how you can talk with somebody. And I talk about this all the time. Visualize that person. If somebody isn't looking in your eyes, you have a hard time connecting with them. If they're not picking up on your energy and your cues, you won't feel seen. So even in this kind of a virtual platform where you're not getting that audience feedback, you're not talking to that person face to face, you really have to pull on your imagination, your intuition, and take those pauses. And imagine the questions that your audience might be coming at you with. The yeah, buts. Right? A great speaker is already like 2 seconds ahead. We know all the questions that are going to come up. Maybe not all of them, but we can anticipate them. Okay, whereas talking at is just like information. I've sat through seminars like that where people use the PowerPoints, and I'm not saying PowerPoints are bad or anything like that, but sometimes if it's like slide after slide after slide after slide after slide, and it's just like information, and they're not stopping every now and then to like do a breakout room, to ask you your opinion, to say, put something in the chat, let's talk about this, let's do an exercise, grab your journal, like those kind of interactive things that are going to help your audience feel like they're a part of your presentation, of your talk. Let me know. Is this making sense? Give me a yes, give me a thumbs, give me a whatever you want to drop, or a confused emoji face, if that's a thing. I'm sure it is. I don't know which one it is. But now let's go into some tips to do it the right way. Okay, so those are like the what not to do. Don't just focus on success or failures. Don't try not to talk at people, and try to minimize the irrelevant things. Okay? Now, how do we do it the right way? So if it's not just failures and it's not just successes, then what is it? It's both. Right? So the reason great stories are great stories is because we see ourselves in them, whether that's consciously or subconsciously. Every story is universal. We may not have been in that, starship in Star Wars, but we can relate to the fear, to the pain, to the desires, to the dreams. There's always pieces of it. So if you're only showing one side, right? You're only going to appeal to people that can relate to that side. We want to show that we are human. So if you're going to talk about your 10K month, maybe show us some of the times that you didn't have that, and the steps and the failures and the successes along the way, so that we can see ourselves in that story and we can feel like it is possible. I want to know that if I'm going to hire you as my coach, that you've been where I've been. Okay, so that is the first one. Now, have a point. Seems kind of logical, right? But I see a lot of people just going on their stories and like talking about something. So your why, we say that a lot in business. What is your why? Okay, and then the next piece of that is, what is your intention? In acting, we call that your objective. Here's how they're different. Your why is like your big picture why. So I'm going to come on here and talk about how I got my PhD when I was 60 years old. And my why is to inspire people to go for their dreams. But that's a pretty vague why. My intention is, I want Kathy, I'm using you, Kathy, because I see your name. I want Kathy to take charge today of something that she has put off. I'm throwing this example out there. And my story and the pieces that I throw in are going to inspire her to do that. So my intention is more specific. And then not just why them and why now, but what then? So what then? Am I asking them to get on a call with me? Am I asking her to join my program? Am I asking her to just pick up the phone and call her lawyer or her school or whatever it is she wants to do? And of course, you can't know every single person's intention when you're doing something like this, especially if you don't even know who's watching. But if you make it real for you, if you have that clarity of the person you're talking to and what you think they need, even if it's wrong, it'll at least feel more specific. So let me say that again. Even if your intention is wrong, like say I am speaking about becoming a lawyer when I'm 65, going to law school or whatever. My intention in my head is like, I want Kathy to pick up the phone and apply to, why did I say law school? Kathy may be like, I'm not a lawyer, but because I have that intention, it's specific. She's going to feel specific. So I'm not actually coming out and saying that, but my story is more specific. So I'm going to use different emotions. I'm going to use different tactics as I speak, because we say this all the time. It's not just what you say, right? It's how you say it. So if I have no motivation, no intention behind my words, it's not going to be as engaging. It's not going to be as exciting. She's not going to feel seen. But if I have that intention, she will feel seen. Hello, Janet. Janet's in the house. Clarity and intention always. Aw, thanks, Janet. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so that's it, basically, friends. Short and sweet today. Cover the ups and the downs. Have a point. Have your why. Have an intention. Your intention covers why them, right? Why am I talking to Kathy? Why am I talking to Janet and not John about this? Why now? And what next? What then? What do I want them to do? And you can write this out before you go talk about yourself. So the moral of the story here, friends, the big picture in talking about yourself the right way is make it about them. Make it about your audience. Me telling a story about my dog is not just because I want to talk about my dog. I don't even have a dog, but I'm sure lots of people like dogs, so they just want to hear your story about a dog. But they can be like, my dog did that too. Oh my gosh, I feel seen. And not every story, not every time you talk about yourself has to be like, I want them to book a call. I want them to hire me as the coach. I want them to buy my paintings. No, but maybe it's, I want them to get to know me better so that we can build a relationship. That's okay too. Okay, what are their needs? Yes. Thank you, Janet, for writing that out. So make it about them. And this is what I talk about in how to overcome your anxiety about speaking as well. Be of service. Make it about them. I think we know that as entrepreneurs in business, right? You're solving the problem. But then when it comes to actually speaking and standing, suddenly it's like, it's about me. I feel seen. It's all, too many people watching me. And then we kind of like forget that this is a piece of your marketing. This is a piece of your service. Is letting them see you, letting them hear your voice. And we are so fortunate that we live in a time where we can do this, where you can, before you buy from me, you can be like, wait, let me check her out. Let me see if I like her vibe. Okay, guys, girls, women, men, everyone who's here, thank you for watching. Let me know your biggest takeaway. But before you go, don't leave yet. We have a 4-day boot camp happening. And you may have seen the banner changed before I even announced it because I was just like, I'm just going to get it out there. 4-day embody your message. So do you struggle to stand in your power and be magnetic, to just be seen? And I think sometimes that happens. There could be 3 reasons why that's happening. One is just fear of using your voice. One is that your message is disconnected, right? It's not clear. Or your visibility is disconnected. So you're showing up the way that you were told to. You're showing up the way that you think you have to. You're showing up in a way that isn't really you. And people feel like, I don't know, something's off, right? So embodying your message means standing in it with power and then using it to communicate in a way that is aligned for you. So that when people see you and feel you, you are living your message. If I said that I help people speak with authority, and I'm going to be done here in 1 second, but I have seen some people show up and be like, I'm going to do a reel about this. I help women to be really happy. So if you don't feel happy, I can help you feel happy. Something about the way they were delivering that message didn't embody the words that they were saying. If happiness is what you're selling, then you should feel it. And we should feel it when we watch you. Just saying. Okay, so that's what Embody Your Message is about. It's 3 days training. And then the 4th day, we are going to hop on Zoom. We are going to practice in real time speaking our message and getting feedback from me after we do a really lovely warm-up. So this is free. Starts March 8th, which is not next week, but the week after. So jump on in, register for it so you don't miss it and you get all the recordings. And we'll be doing it here in the group. Okay, please pop your questions in the chat or in the comments, I should say. And if you're watching the replay, use #replay. Let me know if any questions come up. I love talking to you all, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I really, really am, just that I get to do this and that I get to talk and share. Great question. I will pop the link. I will pop the link in the comments. And thank you, Janet, for being here and for keeping us up to date. You're hired. Janet knows we work for each other as friends. Stand in your power. So good. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I will see you next time. Have a good day.